Hey everybody, Mr. Regan here, and we're looking at task 2, which is going to focus on introducing this idea of active reading. But before we dive into active reading, let's talk about why it's important. So, when people use science in their job, whether it's an inventor, whether it's an engineer, all of our different scientific fields read a lot, and an energy scientist is no different. These types of scientists need to read constantly to learn more in different ways to solve different energy problems similar to those related to our rescue team. So, whenever scientists are reading, they have to read carefully and critically to make sure they understand the ideas that are being presented in whatever scientific article or reading that they're doing. But sometimes scientific texts can be difficult. We know this, okay? They can contain words or ideas that maybe are complicated, and that's super important to why we need to make sure we read deeply and carefully. And that's where active reading comes in. Active reading is an approach to reading scientific texts or articles or things with a bunch of scientific information in them. Okay. It's what scientists do when they read. Now, we call it active reading because you have to think very deeply about what you're reading so that you can actively understand what you're trying to read. Now, we've all experienced a time where we're reading something, and as we're going through it, we begin to realize I don't actually remember what I just read, or oh shoot, I didn't try to actually understand what it is I was reading at the time. So ask yourself, why does this happen? Has this happened to you? Has this happened to you recently, whether it's in literacy, whether it's in your last science class, whether it's something you came across on the internet? We've all seen and been a part of these kind of moments, whether it's in school or not. But reading without paying attention or understanding, this kind of reading, it's actually pretty common and it happens. But in order to be good readers, okay, we have to practice these things related to active reading. And that's what we're going to be focusing on, okay? So before we actually get into the reading, let's look at what good active reading looks like, okay? So what is it? Active reading is when we annotate or we add text and record our thinking to what we're reading. Okay. This helps us keep track of our ideas. It helps us connect with important topics that are being brought up. And it helps us to read deep and understand what it is we're looking at. So let's go ahead and look at a few examples here. And this is where the directions come in handy. So we're going to be looking at reviewing the annotations on the next two slides, slides 6 and 7, to take a look at what active reading looks like, okay? You're going to be focusing on this and this slide here. Now, as you go through it, obviously pay attention to what you're seeing in both of these, okay? But when you're done, notice we have to stop at this point and come back and answer these two questions, okay? So if you have a specific question or you're struggling with this, reach out to me. Otherwise, good luck.